The Steelers agreed to acquire cornerback Jalen Ramsey and tight end Jonnu Smith from the Miami Dolphins in exchange for safety Minkah Fitzpatrick and a swap of draft picks in 2027. Ramsey, 30, has long been considered one of the best corners in the game since entering the NFL in 2016 as the 5th overall pick in the NFL draft by the Jacksonville Jaguars. The 6'1", 208-pound three-time All-Pro also gives the Steelers options across the back end of their defense. Ramsey played 185 snaps in the slot for the Dolphins in 2024, while aligning outside 728 times. He also has the size, speed, ball skills, and tackling ability to perhaps shift to free safety at some point in his career. A 7-time Pro Bowl player, Ramsey has 24 career interceptions to go along with 108 pass breakups in his 9 NFL seasons. His addition gives the Steelers the option of playing Ramsey as their slot cornerback with Joey Porter Jr. and Darius Slay on the outside. Juan Thornhill and Deshaun Elliott would then be at the safety spots. But Ramsey also has played 137 defensive snaps over the course of his career at free safety as well. In 2024, Ramsey allowed just 44 receptions on 71 targets on throws into his coverage, a completion percentage of 62.0%. Opposing quarterbacks posted just an 83.2 passer rating when targeting Ramsey in coverage. He's also ineffective when blitzing. Last season, Miami blitzed him 25 times, mostly out of the slot, and he recorded a sack, 4 quarterback hurries, 3 knockdowns, and also batted down 3 passes. Smith is an interesting addition in that he has a long history of working with Steelers offensive coordinator Arthur Smith. In 2 seasons in Tennessee, 2019 and 2020, Smith caught 35 and 41 passes. Those went for a combined 887 yards and 11 touchdowns, with 8 of the touchdowns coming in 2020. In 2023 in Atlanta, Smith caught 50 passes for 582 yards and 3 scores despite the presence of Kyle Pitts, who also caught 53 passes for 667 yards and 3 scores. Last season in Miami, Smith, who turns 30 in August, had his best season, earning Pro Bowl honors by catching 88 passes for 884 yards and 8 touchdowns. A third-round pick of the Titans in 2017 out of Florida International, the Philadelphia native is an athletic move tight end who, at 6'3", 248 pounds, has the ability to be a good blocker, especially in zone blocking schemes where his athleticism is a factor. But he is a matchup issue for opposing defenses. At the NFL Scouting Combine in 2017, he ran a 4.62-second 40-yard dash, while also posting a vertical jump of 38 inches and a standing broad jump of 10 feet, 7 inches, all of which are excellent for a tight end. Combined with a group that already includes Pat Freiermuth, Darnell Washington, and Connor Hayward, Smith gives the Steelers plenty of options at the tight end position. The Steelers utilized a 2 tight end package 25.25% of the time in 2024, which ranked as the 12th most in the NFL. The Raiders utilized that grouping 35.5% of the time to lead the league, while the Chiefs, Lions, Texans, and Ravens rounded out the top 5 in terms of use of 12 personnel. With the addition of Smith, the Steelers figured to use that package at a much higher rate, lessening the need for additional wide receivers since there are just 2 on the field in a 12 personnel package. New Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers also has a long history of using tight ends extensively throughout his 20-year NFL career. The addition of Smith clearly shows the Steelers want to utilize the middle of the field as a target in the passing game.
So you kind of sounded excited earlier. I don't know what you're all giddy about, but sounds like the Steelers picked somebody up.
Oh, yeah.
And you're excited about it.
Oh, yeah.
Unpack it.
They traded their safety, Minkah. They picked up Jalen Ramsey, one of the best running backs in the game, and Jonnu Smith, one of the better young receiving tight ends in the game. So we got a 2-for-1. We got a starting cornerback that is a definite lockdown corner. We gave up our safety, so we got weaker at safety, that's it. But we strengthened our cornerback and made sure if Aaron Rodgers does his job, if our receivers are okay the way they are, or if we get one, we are a Super Bowl team. That's the difference in that trade. Because if we pick up another receiver, we'll now have 4 threat. We'll have both receivers, because you already know the one receiver's a threat. We'll have the new one if we pick one up. Jonnu Smith is basically the hybrid. He's a receiver / tight end. That's what makes him impressive to get, because he's one of the faster tight ends. He's a hybrid. Then you have Pat Freiermuth, who's a more traditional, but he's a better than average tight end. We already got a running back. The Steelers I already thought were positioned, but when they got Jalen Ramsey too, you went from having a decent corner and we don't know who we're gonna get to you're good because you got a third corner, Darius Slay. The 2 top cover corners last year we just picked up, Darius Slay and Jalen Ramsey. It's just Darius Slay's 30-something years old.
I ask you, never got to ask you, what do you feel about Aaron Rodgers? It took too long. He's fine. He's here. So let's not talk about that. Is he going to change around this franchise, or should y'all have picked up Deion's boy?
All right, Aaron Rodgers is considered a Hall of Famer for a reason. He's one of the most accurate quarterbacks. So, him being here, I'm ecstatic. At his age, Aaron Rodgers is a guy that he'll remind you of a Brett Favre. At Brett Favre's age, he can still move around and sling that ball, and now we have a team around him. Should we have picked up Shador? The way everything's shaking out, he just got to pulled over again, all right? And they're saying that basically the quarterback that's out in Cleveland is going to be Shador. He is immature, and they're saying his ability is a lot more limited, and Travis Hunter made him look better the way he's looking at camp. So I am much more happier with Aaron because I believe he has 2 good years of football in him. And we have a team that has a window that has a 5-year window.
Okay, early predictions. Give me the Steelers record at the end of the year. Are they at 10-16? They play 16 games, right?
I'm trying to decide whether 12-5 or 13-4.
They play 17 games.
Yeah, 17 games now. The Steelers are going to be a lot better, and I think we won 12 games last year. I think we might do the same or better it by 1 game this year.
Okay, if the Steelers are his contract got extended, but as was asked, the Steelers are a bust this year. Do y'all get rid of Tomlin?
If the Steelers are a bust this year, I think this is the first year you would legitimately be able to. I think that he's earned the right to have the year that he should get fired and give him another chance. But yeah, I mean, Smoke, this team is way too talented on offense and on defense. And the reason why they have a 5-year window is the oldest guy on this team and the only position.
That was said that get rid of him. If the Steelers are a bust this year, get rid of Tomlin. He's the problem.
Get rid of him? No, I say this is the year you'd have legitimacy in saying it.
Okay. Not to say he should go, but y'all have an argument.
Right.
Because I do hear people talking, and I think I talked to you about this before. I know I talked to the guys about this. It's like, who do y'all got to replace him?
And that's what was always my thing.
Because I literally heard somebody on a talk radio show saying that, hey, who cares if Tomlin comes? He'll probably be the most sought-out coach. You know what I'm saying? Out there.
Reason.
Yeah, and it was like, let him go. We need to rebuild.
I thought that was stupid. No.
And it was like, I'm thinking like, who you gonna get?
They were spoiled. See, when Tomlin would make teams, and then again, he's went to 2, okay, and he's had a whole bunch of championships, which means they got addicted to success, and they expected him to do it constantly. There's always usually a down year. Tomlin's not had a losing series. Not having a losing season doesn't mean he didn't have a down year or 2. But there's never been a 3 or 4 window where everything was just down. If he had 2 years, the 3rd year they popped back and they had a chance. That's what you want from a coach. Who else could you replace him with?
Let me ask you a question. Who's your favorite Steeler coach? Out of Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin. You've been a Steeler fan for a long time.
If I'm being honest, I gotta say Bill Cowher. But I mean, him and Tomlin are almost the same. I'll never forget Bill Cowher being so excited, like he was spitting in people's faces, okay? The fire that came from him. Mike Tomlin is the mild-mannered Bill Cowher.
But he gets it done, though.
Right.
Bill Cowher showed the passion. He did. He was definitely passionate. But Mike Tomlin, he seems like, basically, I hate this analogy sometimes, but checker man, chess man. I mean, as far as I might not even say that. That's not even fair. You got a boxer. I'm a swimmer, not getting wet, and you got a brawler. And I'm gonna come in there and just smash it to you. I think that's the different styles of the coaching. Could you agree?
Yes.
I'm asking.
Yes.
I'm not.
Yes.
I'm just
Even
looking
to the fact, yes.
by observing.
Yes. Because when he got the job, Mike Tomlin, he was a secondary coach in Tampa Bay, and he used, basically, to your analogy, the second example in your analogy, he used that version as a coverage, the safer cover two. Whereas Bill Cowher, we were a man-to-man, which is a more aggressive style. And so your analogy hit spot on, and there's even evidence in the way the games, how they put their game plans and set it up to prove that. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I said, like, it's hard to ask who's my favorite because they're really the same person, but they're the heads and the tails.
I mean, I like Mike Tomlin. He's no Andy Reid, but he's a good coach.
Right. And you got to understand,
Late
the
shot.
only thing that I think that stopped him from being an Andy Reid is he got seen his ability early. Andy Reid got to go through different phases of the game and master them. Now, Mike Tomlin's only lack in his game is his offensive performance throughout his tenure. And he would have gained that being an assistant for somebody in a 4 or 5 year span. But he got pulled and see that he was a head coach ready now. But he would have, if he would have went the route that every other coach has went, because most people didn't get head coach's job into their 50 or their medium early, somewhere between 50 and 55. He became head coach at 42. So that 5-year window that he would have learned to be a better offensive-minded coach and added into his defensive-minded.
But he's playing Steeler football, right? Steeler football is defense.
Definitely. It's just that people, you want to blame him for something nobody can blame him for. One, you had one player decide to retire 4 years early, Stephon Tuitt, and one player that was retired early by a freak incident at a major position. One of them was, and that was Shazier. So you had a linebacker and a DN, 2 pivotal points in defense taken away from you. It's hard, and your drafts didn't hit as well as they did before. So you don't want to give excuses, but I will give you the reasoning. And you have to understand that's a major impact and blow to any team, any defense. So, and Bill Cowher happened to be at the same time is the first time as us having a franchise cornerback since Terry Bradshaw. We had mediocre quarterbacks, Mike Tomlins and Bubby Bristers and, you know, Dave Woodleys and all these guys.
I remember Bubby Brister.
Yo, so
hey, Tommy Buns.
Tommy Buns, Tommy Maddox.
Yeah.
Really, they called him Tommy Gunn. So you, there was a convergence whenever Bill Cowher came in, and he was the right coach at the right time because he had the fiery spirit to take a team with any type of talent like that. And then you get a gem in Cordell Stewart, the first Lamar Jackson, as fast as Lamar, but at a time Lamar may be more shifty, but Cordell can throw better than Lamar. And had his years had been cut short in Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh had a couple start over that people don't really realize. And in Mike Tomlin's era, when that happened with his players, it was basically a start over. And then a few years later, you get the ultimate start over because you lose the ultimate franchise quarterback. Ben, regardless of him personally, what I don't like about him personally, Ben is probably one of the most underrated quarterbacks in NFL quarterback legend history. If you look at his stats, you would want no other, like you go to war with, I don't know how many quarterbacks you would want to go to war with other than Ben Roethlisberger. And the way he displayed in him being a big guy juking, him being a big guy making moves, him just broken nose playing, broken ribs, everything you want in a player. Ben, and you know, for us, wasn't it like ironic that he comes from Ohio, our nemesis? But Mike Tomlin had to go through different things that coaches may in a 20-year career see one time, and he had multiple things. So for him to not have a losing season says so much more about him. And I'm sorry that everybody expects to win a Super Bowl, but most teams don't legitimately expect to be able to be in a conversation for a Super Bowl 3 or 4 times in a 10-year span. We're lucky enough to have a team that can be in that conversation 4 or 5 times. So, is it worse to not play for any championships or to play for 2 championships and be a game away 5 or 6 times, where you're right there? Or would you? Because all the other teams that did the restarts, look at them. They're still not playing for championships, and they're still using different coaches. That's why Mike Tomlin happens to be the longest tenured coach in sports.
Nice stat. I never knew that.
Yes, after Rudy Popovich from San Antonio, he's the longest tenured in sports.
Ain't Popovich stepping down, though?
Yeah, he had a heart attack. Or a stroke, minor stroke, something like that. So he has to step down. But him, and then another thing on Tomlin, nobody says anything about the boy from Baltimore. Harbaugh. Because Harbaugh pretty much has the same stats as Mike Tomlin, as in going to the playoffs, being a disappointment.
Jim Harbaugh.
John Harbaugh.
Okay, I'm thinking
Jim is the one that just went to San Diego.
Okay. He played for Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Oh, no, Harbaugh played for Indianapolis, I think. Did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what Harbaugh's doing in Baltimore, but he has Lamar. So you could say that he had more reason to be more disappointment, him not winning the Super Bowl. He's been there, been to a championship, AFC championship, and he had like 3 or 4 years where he didn't win or go beyond the first round. But nobody's clamoring for him to go either. I don't know. I just think people get jealous because Mike Tomlin, we went through Hall of Fame players. We had a once-in-a-lifetime Hall of Fame quarterback, and we had 3 or 4 Hall of Fame receivers. Our linebacking Hall of Fame core that's going through. It's like we've had so many players, the Troy Polamalos, the Shaziers to the Joey Porters, all of them. We had so many players that were great that we now expect a position that it's hard to be great in, to be great on a consistent basis. And don't get us all ready for a playoff win and run to the Super Bowl and you get knocked out in the first round. Man, it sucks to do that. But
I mean, we can put a pin in this conversation, but
go ahead.
I do want to ask you a question if you do know.
Go ahead.
Why are all the Pittsburgh teams doing well except the Pirates? Why are they? I know they can fill out the stadium, but what is it with them not trying to make it better? Are the owners running it as a business or just not trying to win? Not to say that, you know what I mean? I'm asking you. I don't know.
To the business question, yes. And you couldn't have a worse owner than ours. See, because of the fan base, we make money even when we lose. And he had a deal that he literally is an owner that pockets over $100 million a year, whether they lose, and he still won't reinvest 20-30 of that 100 million that he's getting, and even the other teams are trying to make him sell. So short answer, bro, we got the worst owner in sports.
Really? He's that bad?
Yo,
my thing is, I didn't know he was that bad. Like the other teams just telling him, yo, sell that shit, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sell it. And like they would understand if you were hurting financially. But no, we know you're getting a deal and you're packing in $150 million from this deal, even if you pay a $30 million salary. So what's wrong with taking $50 million and keeping $100 million? So that's the type of thing.
The Pirates' salary is $30 million for the.
Oh, it was 2 years ago. Now I think it's 38.
Well, for the players?
For the whole team salary.
Oh man.
As opposed to they just paid $800 million to Shohei Ohtani. The Yankees $350 million as a team payroll. Our team payroll is $38 million. It's under $40 million, bro.
No wonder the Yankees and certain bigger market teams don't come here, because they have TV rights like New York and stuff. They're not coming here.
No,
nobody's coming here to play.
It's a horrible game.
Yeah,
it's a horrible game.
And plus, they probably like you guys ain't coming down here on corn dog night to see fucking get in the game for $27 to see Derek Jeter.
No.
No.
Actually, The Pirates, they did. That's what made them successful. But you had an owner for 20 straight years. 20 straight years, you knew you can make over 150 million losing. If you lost every game, you had a fan base that 20 years you're losing, you're still making at the end of the year after payroll and salary at least $150 million you're pocketing in the worst season in MLB history.
That is wild. $38 million for the whole roster. I know. I've seen players getting paid $120 million in baseball. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen some groundbreaking shit. Like you just said, dude, they just gave dude 800
million.
Yeah, man.
I think 6 or 700 was given to Soto when they lured him away. The Mets gave it to him, luring away from the Yankees. And the Pirates, the only team that has a payroll as close to the Pirates, I think, are the I don't want to say the Diamondbacks. I think it's the Devil Rays. Small market. You know, they don't get like.
But I'm not buying that though. When Pittsburgh, as far as merch, is what the number one or number two. I mean, the Steelers are like the number one and number two behind either Denver, Dallas is number one and number two. So
right.
That small market thing, I think you can probably get that up out of here. Sometimes.
No,
I mean, even though it is a small market, I'm just saying.
TV market.
Going back to the diehard fans thing.
No. The small market is about TV.
Okay, yeah.
And how much TV
and how much
audience and da-da-da-da.
are going to pay for commercials.
That's why the Yankees can pay $300-something million there in New York. The TV market and the people to pay in and all that they can make from the TV, because that's a big chunk of what baseball gets is how much the cable and all those rights. So here, you can't get much. Not from the cable and all of that. In New York, it's crazy. So in LA, so the Pirates are small market in that, based on TV viewership and things of that nature. But again, we're unique in the fact that our base is so supportive. That man, you could see if they were saying your payroll's $33 million, but you're only clearing 50. That's 17 above your payroll. You might even say it if he was at 80. But when you're making $150 in excess above everything you paid out at the end of the year, you know you're an absolute idiot or an asshole that you won't put more money into your players that are trying hard for you and your fan base that has supported you when you weren't paying. Do you know for over 20 years, the Pittsburgh Pirates wouldn't even think about selecting the top 20 players?
Yeah, I heard that one. Like, they would just sit it out.
Yo, we were a behind-the-scenes joke. Like, what franchise expects to get better when the top 20 guys that can help you better, yeah, we don't even want to pay them. So we're not going to consider.
We're going to bring somebody up for the minors.
Yeah. Pick a third-round choice because we don't want to pay nobody in the first round. We don't even want to pay nobody in the second round. This is the whole thing that the owner is sickening, bro. I don't want to do nothing but make a machine. He's an analytics guy, basically.
I haven't heard.
I don't care about my people. I'm just going to pay them. He would be paying, like the kids in China, what they're talking about, the kids in the warehouse, the sweatshop. He would rather play his players like sweatshop run it that way.
Are the fans outraged?
Yeah, as you see, a lot of Pirate games are blacked out. They stopped going. You look at the crowds, look at all the empty chairs. Again, for 20 years, even losing, there would be sold-out games every game. And the crazy thing about them doing the fan and backing out, we have a once-in-a-generation pitcher. Paul Skeens is unbelievably, it's like you think of baseball pitchers that you probably heard of. Randy Johnson's, this is one of them.
He's a Randy.
This is one of them. And he's losing games 0-1. Like, the Pirates have no hitting, so he's losing games where he's pitching like he has one of the top 10 lowest ERAs in baseball. And this should be his first year. He's one of the only players that get drafted don't have to get brought up through single, double A, and they get up in 2 years. He got up the year after. He was one of those ones that they shot that would be like going from high school in, but basically the baseball version. That's what he did.
So basically, he'll be leaving Pittsburgh here shortly.
Oh, man.
And getting the bag.
Oh, man. He's definitely a player that's going to command 600-700. Not a lot of people notice about Paul Skeens. The man can hit like Ohtani. I'm not saying he can hit as well as Ohtani, but he was a two-way player. He's a hitter as well. But they told him to concentrate on baseball. But we got a generational player, a Brett Favre or a Tom Brady player. But they're going to say, well, you know what? We're going to let him go because we're not going to pay Tom. That's your owner. Okay. Imagine the owner that doesn't pay Tom Brady and says, I'll just get another one of you.
Yeah, let him go to the Bengals too at that.
Got on his Scarface cancer.
One of your league,
another one.
One of your league rivals. Let him go to Baltimore too. Yes. But last word is yours. Give me your last predictions on what the Steelers' record will be this year.
I'm stuck between 12-5 and 13-4.
Super Bowl.
I truly believe if the Steelers get a receiver, or if one of the receivers turn out to make a decent number 2 that they have, we're going to the Super Bowl. I don't believe there's a team that can beat us. And the move they made the other day, they made sure that we can handle the Buffaloes and the KCs or anybody in the NFC. Steelers prediction: Steelers 13-4. They go to the Super Bowl.
Going to Super Bowl. Last word is yours. Peace.
Yeah, baby.
Well, I'm going to be real brief. I don't want to come out here and blow my own horn. I don't want to toot my own horn, but toot.